Hello and welcome. Today I thought I was just about to do a read for myself, and I thought, do you know what? I'll record it and do a read for everyone because it's a fairly broad question. I'm asking about a situation. I just want to know if there's movement on it or what's kind of happening or what the kind of juice is. So I thought that's such a broad church that I just put it out there and see what comes through. So I'll do two parts. The deck I was going to use actually just before I started fell all on the floor. So I thought, actually, do you know what? I don't think that's supposed to be the one. And the energy tonight is quite chaotic. I think it's no, that's not the right word. Eclectic, maybe. But what I'll do is I'll do my normal reading with the this is what I normally do if you haven't seen my things before, but I'm going to read with choose an energy from the alchemy deck and then ask the energy what information it would like to bring through. So we'll just tune in for a moment to the energies of I'm going to tune to my situation, but obviously that will bring through energy for hopefully for the collective because it's just such a basic question. I'd like to know how this situation is moving forward and if there's any information or what information can you give me about its progress. Please, can I have any energies for the highest good of all to come forward to give us the information we need? So I'll just call for the first card. Whoop. We've got three. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Thank you. Like I said, the energy is like, it's either, yeah, interesting energy. Okay, first pile, we have vinegar. A beautiful Kim Krans deck. Fabulous. So pile two is resin. And pile three is the alchemical wedding. Okay, so choose your pile and I shall see you there. Hey there, so welcome pile one. This is vinegar. And before I talk about this card, I'm just going to say the energy in here is very tricksy. It feels like there's trickster energy at play. Um, yeah, so things are kind of they're going forward, but they're kind of, oh, we're about to go to Mercury stationing. Of course, there's trickster energy. I'm not sure if it's direct, no, sorry, stationing retrograde. So yeah, that's not a surprise. So the other thing that I thought I'd mention is rose. I've got a really strong urge to be using rose incense, rose candles. Everything's rose at the moment, which normally I don't. Usually I use a kind of a frankincense or something a bit more kind of cleansing, but this really strong urge to use rose. Don't know if that's relevant. Okay, so vinegar. This is a super interesting card, like they all are from the Kim Krans deck. So this is about, you think if you put vinegar in your mouth, it's like but obviously it's really important for things like pickling or fermentation. And in the alchemical process, that's exactly what it's used for. It's used for distillation, fermentation. It makes a shift in the properties of the element that you're working with, or the I don't know, cabbage. It's a shift in the nature of the energy. The other thing this card talks about is so, but the thing is, if you were to overload, like say you put a little dash of vinegar in your like balsamic vinegar in your salad, that's lovely. But if you were to put like a whole, like it would be like way too much. So it's this is a little goes a long way. It also talks about the past. Can talk about a sour taste in your mouth, but it can also about it's there's a reference to because it's a process. It's like where did the process start? What was the so whatever you're looking at, I'm trying to think of an example. Cabbage. Let's look at the cabbage. You've got your cabbage before it's pickled. You've got your cabbage after it's pickled. You can't really over egg. You can't really put too much vinegar in a pickling. But if you think when the cabbage comes out of the pickle, it's in a completely different state. So this card is asking you to look at the initial state of the situation, but not to linger there. So it's kind of going, let's check on the cabbage. I don't know why I'm using cabbage, just because I had pickled cabbage the other night. It was really good. Fermented. Ferment. Okay, gut health is coming, obviously, with fermentation, fermented foods. I don't know, that might be relevant. But yes, so think about things are jumping in here, man. Swear. Um, so yes, think about the state of the situation in the past without focusing on it, because you're wanting the energy to move forward and you're asking about the energy now. So the energy of vinegar is both the before, the current, and the after. So it's saying don't linger in any one of those states. So that's an interesting energy for a read on a situation. No, it's not actually. It makes perfect sense. Okay. I'm feeling like I might need to smudge a bit because there's some quite wild energy in here. I just think it's the yeah, this Mercury, this trickster energy. And I was just yeah, anyway, whatever. I have smudged. Perhaps not hard enough, but there we go. Okay, so I'm going to use a standard Rider Waite Smith. I'm calling it the Waite Smith from now on because we want to honor Pamela Coleman Smith who did the artwork. So this is a teeny tiny deck. As I've said before, my baby sister bought me this, my first ever deck, and it leapt while she was buying it for me. It leapt off the shelf when she was about to buy me another deck, but I hadn't asked for it or anything, but I was wanting a Rider Waite Smith. So it's well used. I'm just going to give it a bit of a shuffle. Yeah, so you can't see me shuffling, but you just have to, if you're going to say, you didn't shuffle me. Oh, got my first card. Okay, interesting. Okay, I'll pull them all and then I'll tell you what they are and what they mean, and then we'll ask Vinegar. Would like, please may I have a second card. Let me just focus on my question so it can come through as the what's the energy of this situation. So I'll focus on mine. Ooh, another, okay. What's the energy on the situation? I would think about, okay, right. So we got a little lump. I'm not going to take these, but I'm going to look at them. So, okay, so what have we got? We've got King of Wands in reverse, walking away in reverse, but the Moon in reverse, King of Swords in reverse, and Justice in reverse. Interesting, they're all in reverse. So I feel like that's saying don't pay attention to them, but in case you want to know what they were, King of Wands, Eight of Cups, the Moon, King of Swords, Justice. So, I feel like that little bundle is saying if you've done the right thing, don't be afraid that the situation isn't moving forward. And that the truth will out as long as you're in alignment with your own truth. You don't need to walk away. You don't need to be frightened of secrets. If you've told the truth and you've done the right thing, anybody else involved in this mix that might be trying to thwart it, they're not going to be able to, as long as you're in alignment. So stay in alignment. Let go of any kind of fear or doubt or worry. Not don't be concerned and interested, but it's like anything that's if there's a person involved, they're not relevant. Um, but stick to the truth. Stick to your truth. And there are forces at play, but they're beyond your control anyway. Just stay in doing the right thing. That's what that little bundle means. Okay, so bottom of the deck is Four of Wands. So we keep that in mind. And then we've got Six of Cups, Five of Swords in reverse, and the Empress in reverse. Okay, so let's talk to Vinegar. I've got a bit of resistance in talking to Vinegar. Although I do like a bit of vinegar. I love a bit of apple vinegar. But yeah, it's like it means like a little as it goes a long way. So watch out. Okay, okay. Vinegar, what have you got to say? Oh, when I was a child, I used to eat whole lemons out of my like a little one. I'd steal them from the bottom of my grandmother's. fridge and eat them whole. What does that mean? It's weird. It's coming through quite sticky, the energy. It's quite, it's obscured. So it's trying to show me the image of me eating lemons. So it's don't be afraid of that because at one time you embraced it. It's talking about the six of cups. So it's about, what's it saying about? It's quite difficult to read this. Yeah, it's showing me a whole backlog of my past. And not things that necessarily happened, but things that were like, okay, generational. That's what's coming through. It's like, it's not just, so my grandmother's fridge, it's showing me my mother's grandparents, my mother's childhood beach house, but it's showing me like a whole lot of uh other streams of like ancestral stuff, which I never normally get. Um, but that's related to this card. So why is it giving me that card individually? Because it's like there's both a lot of information, but it's like frozen. So is it frozen in time? Let me just adjust my chair because I'm suddenly feeling like I don't know, like I don't know. I mean, carry on. It's now showing me like a dark laboratory, and it's saying, okay, this is quite interesting. It's kind of like a scene from a movie, like a fantasy movie, and it's like enter the enter the laboratory, not in secret, but it's kind of like the lights aren't on. So it's like enter the laboratory with it's a kind of it's a kind of mixture between reverence and care and secrecy, but it's none of those things either. So it's kind of got the essence of, if you go into a library, you're quiet and you're reverent, but you're not like going, oh my God, I'm in a library. You're just like aware that there's, sorry, my bra's falling down. A load of, it's a place of huge information. And so there's automatically a reverence of like, and a kind of wonderment. There's a wonderment there. Sorry, I want to burp. That's energy moving. I'm just gonna it's grim. Sorry. If you work with energy, you'll understand about that. That doesn't mean if you don't, you won't understand about belching. So sorry. I used to get really triggered if someone burped. I used to like freak out. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of things about the past coming up, a lot of things about what I used to do when I was a child. So again, I don't know why this is relevant, but I'm saying 'cause this card is obviously about the past and about childhood. So there's loads of stuff coming through. I don't normally sort of put so much of my, so when I was a child, if any of us belched, my father would lose his proverbial. So it's coming in as enormous consequences. He didn't get angry very often, but that would be one thing that he would lose it about. He'd be like, so there's this kind of sense of or weight, a very Saturnian weight of consequences, which I think what it's saying is when you're going into that laboratory or library kind of energy, but it's showing you a laboratory, there's a weight of consequences. Um, so how does that match? It's almost like there's so much weird energy, not weird, it's just a lot. So if you think of those very early 1940s Disney's movie like The Sorcerer's Apprentice. So the sorcerer, obviously, if you've seen that, the sorcerer is a kind of foreboding presence, but he's not there. But the weight of getting it wrong would be, again, these kind of 1940s Ichabod Crane, Sleepy Hollow. There's this kind of impending, it's not doom, although the Ichabod Crane is not such a, it's a weighty, it's a Saturnian energy. So Saturn at the moment is in, it doesn't matter when you watch this, so it's just the energy. So Saturn at the moment is in Neptune. in the 12th house. So that's a mighty weighty energy, and maybe that's the energy that's coming through. But the vinegar is like it's very much about, so what advice do you need to give us? Yeah, this is a bit abstract, but it's just saying follow follow the sour taste, but not something discomfort. It's like the this is difficult to put into words. So the idea of me eating lemons when I was little, that's not an unpleasant memory, but there's a sour taste to it. So we're not looking at things that are deeply unpleasant. We're looking for things, yeah, that have a sour taste, but not an unpleasantly sour taste. If that probably doesn't make much sense, I'm so sorry. But yes, so we've got to find that thread from the past. In fact, it's saying it will take us there. You'll know which one to go on if you follow your, what do you follow? Follow your mouth. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. Um, it's got so much information coming through. Something about the 1940s cartoons, definitely, definitely that old. Why are you bringing that through? Nostalgia. Nostalgia, but it's saying weighty nostalgia. I'm not a particularly nostalgic person. Perhaps I shouldn't say that because, we all have these tendencies, but it's saying something that is talking about something alchemical, obviously, because it's an alchemical deck, but it's like, yeah, this sorcerer's apprentice. Okay. Your relationship to cartoons in childhood. What does the cartoons represent? Okay. This is a random one, but it's saying things that you used to do. I'm not saying everyone had a childhood in the 1940s. Oh, it's random. The childhood things that were kind of innocent, but had a sort of sense of consequence. Okay, so it's saying follow the thread of where there's a slight bit of guilt, like I don't know why. Yeah, it's showing me the Sorcerer's Apprentice. So obviously, if you don't know the story of the Sorcerer's Apprentice, it's Mickey Mouse in the 1940s cartoon. I think it's 40s. But anyway, the sorcerer goes out and he thinks he's got enough information to do some sorcery. But unfortunately, what he does is unleash this nightmare that gets completely out of control. And it's quite sweet. It will be very dated by now, but yeah, so he ends up flooding and trying to get the mop to work, and oh my goodness. And then magically, just as the sorcerer comes in, you see this massive shadow at the door. And I think if I remember right, he's just tidied it up just as the sorcerer comes back in, and he's like, because he's unleashed this force that he can't control. So maybe that's similar to the vinegar. It's like, where have you dealt with a force that you've got to be measured about because you're dealing with a vinegar, which you need to know precisely how much to add just to get that, but not kind of, you're not going to, well, unless you drink apple cider vinegar, that's irrelevant. Um, yeah, so you need to know how to dose a vinegar, particularly in the alchemical process because it's transmuting. So it's saying, where in your past have you practically, and we're talking childhood, I'm feeling like between an age when you're doing something and you're innocent. It's the kind of, it's not the full energy, but it's that idea of I know what I'm doing here. But you're so little. When you're little, you don't realize how little you are. But you're going, I know what I'm doing here. And you do something that it isn't a wicked thing, but it's a thing that you go "Ooh," after. So it's like the lemons thing. It's me stealing lemons from my grandmother's fridge. Now, I was little enough to know that I shouldn't be sneaking in because, the fact that I went to sneak in there to do it, um, was a bit naughty, but it wasn't like big style naughty. It wasn't like, oh my God, I don't know, Who knows what naughty is? Actually, it's all a concept. Anyway, so I don't know why that's coming through, but it's definitely related to the childhood. I'm just going to actually thank you, Vinegar. I'm going to talk to you again in a minute, but let's see what this card's bringing through because this is, as I say, the Six of Cups, which is about nostalgia, about childhood, about can be about soulmates, people that have come in from your past that are karmic, can be about childhood friends. Uh, we've just had an eclipse, which was very much about karmic endings. And interestingly, people that I've been talking to have had similar experiences to me that friends we haven't seen for a long time have been coming forward. And it's been that huge, like, oh, I recognize you. I recognize you from obviously friends that we've known for a long time, but haven't seen them. But this idea of that comfort of recognition. So maybe it's talking about when you haven't seen someone for a while or when you think you've done something a little bit wrong because personally with this situation with my friends, I haven't seen them for a long time. So there's a little bit of guilt about like, oh God, are they going to be cross with me? And we're going to get on okay. And it was just totally magical. So again, I wonder if this idea of the sorcerer's apprentice is about something magical. Um, it's cups, so it's emotions. Uh, yeah, I feel like that's all I need to say about that card, even though I don't feel like I've made any actual sense there, but hopefully I have. Then we've got five of swords. Cutting off to your nose to spite your face in reverse. Um, I'm going to ask Vinegar. This is quite a strange energy coming through. It's quite trickstery. Oh my goodness. And this is very strange. Can't see it, but my incense is blowing towards me. There's no breeze there at all. And yet it's blowing very much like this. It was doing this the other night. It was very strange. And my candle is jumping. Yeah, it's literally wafting toward me. There's no possibility of a breeze there. Normally it goes straight up. So what does that mean? It means it's leaning in because it's interested, but it's also saying, so let me ask Vinegar, because Vinegar is the one that's talking to us today. So if you haven't watched my reads before, I'd read the energy from the card and it tells us there's a slightly, I'm not going to use the word spooky, but a slightly, it's not spooky at all. Maybe it is. Unnerving. No, there's a word less strong than unnerving. My dog just snorted so indignantly that I'd used the wrong word. I think she's asleep, so pay attention, Louise. It's showing me a lot about my grandparents on my maternal side, which I don't think about very much. Not that I don't care about them, but just they're not often. So it's yeah, it's very much early maternal. Is it maternal? I just had a bird sing. It's literally like the middle of the night. I don't know what that means. Crazy energy, crazy energy. So I'm going to have to take a breath. I'm going to have to take a breath because there is literally a bird awake in the middle of the night. This is insane. I've got my feet on a grounding mat. So anyway, let me just center. The bird is like, you probably can't hear it because I've got double glazing, but like it's fully dawn chorusing. Okay, Vinegar. Is there anything I need to know about this read, Vinegar? Can I have a bit more of a specific? It says no, you're doing the right thing. Okay. It says as long as you're listening. I'm trying to focus on my question. Please can I have the energy of what is the energy of the situation that I'm asking about? We're doing an energy check on the situation. Okay, okay. It's saying the situation that you're asking about has very ancient roots. This is not a new situation. It might be a new situation for you, but the situation as it exists has a long, 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 long history. And it must be respected. Thank God I finally got the message through. It's like going into a library. You don't need to bow down and you're not going into a church, you're going into a library. Be aware and be respectful of the silence of the history, if that makes sense. So make sure that you're looking back and and being respectful. I mean, I know I've just said this, but I can't put it quite into words. It's like understand that there is a history here. And it's a when I say weighty, it is a family history, but I don't think it's necessarily a family history. But it's saying this has a lineage, an important lineage, just as oneself has a. We might not like our lineage, or we might not be connected to our lineage, but we have to accept and respect. And perhaps it's saying to me, I need to be a bit more respectful of my lineage because I don't pay much attention to it. So I don't know if that's relevant. And this smoke blowing towards me, I'm feeling is saying there's something about it. Pay attention to the things that you haven't been paying attention to and the things that matter, and don't take them too lightly. Take them as you would going into a library, respectfully, obviously, but not with this like the vinegar. You don't treat vinegar. It's not what do you call that acid that burns through your skin? Can't remember. Caustic. No, can't remember. So there's no problem trying. Put it in the comments. Um, yeah, you be respectful of vinegar, but you don't treat it like a corrosive substance. It's a transformative substance. So it's saying treat this situation. I hope I'm not going on too much. Treat this situation with reverence, respectfully, and carefully and thoughtfully. And be a little bit, it's not saying wary, it's just saying understand that there's a somewhat unpleasant's too strong a word, uncomfortable thing that you need to consider, take on board, understand, um, accept. Like there might be something uncomfortable. Not everybody's thrilled to, be dealing with vinegar. It's a bitter taste, but equally there's a place for it. So yeah, let's have a look at the next card. Five of Swords. I just asked about the Five of Swords, but I didn't get I think I was trying to tune in on the overall energy. Okay, how does Five of Swords relate to this? Yeah, it's the same energy. It's just saying that's part of the kind of Five of Swords in reverse is part of the not unpleasantness, but that there's been things go down here. There's been things that have happened that are over, that are not relevant, but you need to take them into consideration. As in, you don't need to, you're not being betrayed yourself, but there is something in that situation which you need to understand. There's been an uncomfortable situation happen in the past. Now we've got the Empress. This is a chaotic read, and it's not I can't. I think this situation, not that it's complicated, but there's lots of aspects you need to take on board that perhaps you're trying to simplify it. Perhaps you're trying to say, oh, that'll be fine. It's kind of saying it's not that it won't be fine, but don't dismiss it. Don't imagine that all these things don't matter. Don't imagine I mean, this is a silly example, but don't imagine your grandmother didn't have a life. That's a random thing to say, but as in, like, you can't diminish that's an actual fact. We might not want to think about it, we might not care about it, but it's a fact. So whatever you're trying to minimize, take it into account. Now, Vinegar, what have you got to say about the Empress in reverse? Yeah, it's the same energy. It's like we might be wanting to think, oh my God, this is amazing. It's all gonna be fine. It's like, yeah, but the Empress is great. Everyone loves the Empress. Yay. Yeah, she's in reverse. So just that library feeling. Just go, okay, I'm gonna take that with the due respect. Say, what is Empress? I'm gonna speak to the card directly. Empress. Empress in reverse. What have you got to say? Mhm. She says, I am a great beauty, but do not underestimate me. So I don't think she means a beauty in the physical sense. I mean, she, again, it's this library, but it's a weight of, it's a Venusian weight. So it's like saying, oh, Venus is such a gorgeous planet. I mean, I'm talking about the archetype. Oh, Venus is such a gorgeous goddess. It's like, give her her dues. It's not about the way she looks. Her energy is mighty. And the Empress is saying, she's not trying to tell you how great she is. She's not trying to tell you how mighty she is. But I think she's saying, again, just take don't take things for granted in this situation. Don't take things at face value. That's what she's saying. Don't just look at my beauty and think, oh, she's pretty. It's like, look beyond the surface. Look beyond the what. It's kind of saying, just don't take things for granted. But equally with the vinegar, don't go down a massive rabbit hole. Don't overthink. No, not overthink it. It's like consider things. Okay, right. Now we've got bottom of deck. At the end of the day, after all that thought, everything's gonna be amazing. Oh my God, it's gonna be groovy. There you go. That's the read. I hope that was helpful. That was a random one. Anyway, hi, this is a little update from the after this read, which I've just finished doing pile one, the vinegar. I had this really strong instinct to sage everything. And as I did, I felt this like beautiful nostalgic freshness, which is weird. And the smell of sage, I've got my bundle here. Normally I find it a bit overpowering, but it felt so clear and crisp and fresh, and it brought up all these beautiful memories of my childhood, like all the things I loved about my childhood, which is super weird. I'm not the sort of person that spends time thinking about my childhood. Also, the smell of roses, I didn't want the smell of roses anymore. I wanted back to what I normally have, which is much more kind of frankincense and things like that. Um, and it said to me, there's been a sense of rose-colored glasses. So I feel like the vinegar was saying that there was some ignoring of you're trying to make everything smell of roses when the taste is of vinegar, if that makes sense. So it's about once you accept that everything wasn't rose-colored, there was a history there that needs to be taken into account. And then when you freshen up, and the other thing is we've just come off this eclipse, which it's about endings, it's about karmic endings, it's about many lifetimes that we're moving forward from. And so what you think, sorry, my bra. Um, I hope you don't think that's rude, whatever. Yes, so the kind of the freshening up and the accepting and the closing of that cycle by doing this sage smudging, it felt like a massive karmic relief, even though the energy was chaotic in the read. I feel like it's because it was bringing through lots of chunks of lifetime that need to be distilled. I don't know if that's helpful or if it's relevant, but I just thought I'd add that because it came through really strongly. It was the strangest like, right, I need to sage everything now. And yeah, it wasn't like a bad reading. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye. Hello and welcome. The last read was kind of crazy. So be interesting to see what comes up with pile two. So welcome to pile two. we have the alchemical properties of resin. Now, this card, Kim Krans' Alchemy deck, is about it's about nostalgia. Um, and yeah, the last deck was talking about nostalgia as well, which is interesting because vinegar and resin are not related at all. But this is about, as in, the properties of resin are multiple, as in it can adhere, it can stick things together, it can preserve things. So if you think of amber being suspended in sap, it will fossilize things from the sort of prehistoric ages. But also it can be nostalgic, so it can preserve things, but also it can stick things together, it can surround things. It has multiple properties. Um, so it's about thinking of the multifarious ways we can look at this situation, but also if it's preserved, is it stagnant? So it can be an active kind of, it can be obviously, and as an alchemical property, it's remarkable. It can, think of frankincense resin, it's extraordinary. It's incredibly adaptable. So even though frankincense resin can be incredibly old, it can purify a space. So it can take on other properties. So it's hugely malleable. What's coming through is the immutable quality. So whatever astrological signs are mutable. So what are the mutables? Gemini, is it Virgo, Libra, and Sag? I've no idea. I've no idea. I think they are. What's the water? Pisces is mutable. Pisces. No. So okay, whatever. I'll write them in the list below. But I'll write it. I'll put a little screenshot. Anyway, so mutable properties. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll talk to the card, see what it wants to bring through, and then I'll pull some Rider Waite Smith. I'm trying to teach myself to say Waite Smith, because of Pamela Coleman Smith, who did the artistry. Okay, let me tune in. What would you like to tell us, Resin, about this situation that we're asking about? What's the current situation regarding this energy? It's saying it's stuck. It's kind of not what I wanted to hear, but okay. All right, it's stuck. Showing me a bit of blue tack on the wall. It's stuck. Okay, but hang on. It's stuck, but it can support. It's showing me a poster. It can support an image. Okay, so it's saying it has adherence properties energetically. So it's saying, what do you want your poster to look like? Decide what poster you want to put. So yeah, so what it's trying to say is it will be the glue that will bring through the situation, but you have to know what the situation is going to look like. What poster? You've got to choose what image, or how do you want that situation to look? So it's saying it energetically, it's the situation is available to you, um but you've got to decide how you want it to look. So yeah, I think I've just said that. So Resin, please advise, which cards would you like to, what would you like to tell us about this situation tonight, please, or whenever you're watching? Please may I have three. Ooh. The energy's been really strange in here. Not bad strange, just hopping, some odd things happened. So it's a bit the energy I said of the last one was quite trickstery, quite energy, but Mercury is stationing at the moment, so I don't know if that's relevant, but I always bring the current energies in because they are relevant to whenever time you see this read. But yeah. So what messages, please, may I have three cards, please. One card first relevant to this situation, please, Resin. Oh, got the first one. We have, actually, I don't know how I wanted to. It's kind of come out on its side. It's Six of Swords, but it kind of wasn't sure if it wanted to be upright or not. So I'll bear that in mind. Okay, so please may I have another card, please. Oh, got another one. Empress in reverse. And let's have one more. Oh, we've got several. There's too many. I'm going to take the bottom one, but I'm going to put it aside. It's the world, but it because it popped out a whole with a whole lot of others. I'm just going to put it as a kind of note to self or note to read. Okay, resin. Please may we have one more. The highest good of all. My fridge just made a strange sound, so what's that mean? It's just more of the chaos in here. Although it's not chaos, it's just energies. Okay, we've got another three. Ugh. I'm gonna take them. And then we've got the star on the bottom. I'm gonna take three because they felt like they came out as one. So we've got 10 of Pentacles, the Hermit, and the High Priestess in reverse. So I'm going to take those as one little bunch of information. Okay, resin. What have we here? Okay, what would you like to tell us about these cards? Okay. Six of Swords. It was kind of not sure about which way it wanted to go, was because are you ready to move forward into this situation? Are you ready to move forward to this situation, or are you not sure you actually want it to happen? Because if you want it to happen, make sure you want it to happen and take the steps, as in you might not have a direct access to making it happen or not, but it's saying prepare yourself intellectually, put yourself in that space, but make sure you want it. So you can move into this situation, but you have to visualize how it's going to be. Air, swords is air, thought. Make a very sharp picture in your mind about what you want to bring in. Empress in reverse. Let's feel into that. I'm going to just ask Resin what it says about that. Oh, it said I forgot something. Okay. So this three of wands popped out on top of the when it flew out on top of this first card. So it's saying the world is your oyster. You can have this. It's just reiterating. Make sure you visualize exactly what you want and decide, and then you can have it. The world is your oyster, but be very, very, very sure that you want it. Because there's this powerful sticking energy. There's this powerful, if you choose it, you're going to be stuck with it. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean it's going to be sticking like resin. Um, so be bloody sure you want it. Okay, Empress in reverse. It says move on. I don't know what that means. Okay, I'll move on to the next section. That's random. Okay, so we've got this pile of little threes that came out. Um, so I've got an instinct about this. Maybe I'll be wrong, but I'll ask Resin in a minute. So we've got 10 of Pentacles. Your again, this has got an interesting. I'm going to read it with the other two. Okay, so I'll read these two together. So this is coming through as it might be your financial wish for this to happen, but consider carefully whether or not it really is your financial success, or whether it really is in your best interests. Because you might think, oh, that's everything I want. But this card is also about, is it everything you want, or is it what you've been told you want? Because it's not as straightforward as like, oh, look at all my money and I'm successful, yay. It can be about thinking or being told that you want something, or having an idea, a superficial idea of, oh, when I have XYZ, then I'll be XYZ. So it's saying take time to go inward and think, is this really going to be my 10 of Pentacles? As in, is it going to be everything I want? Is it truly what I want? Because it feels to me like this is available to you. Do you want it? Because once you've got it, you're going to have to commit. So then, High Priestess in reverse, what's coming through to me is maybe your intuition is a bit off. You might be being uh um so I feel like there might be an influence, a female influence that's making you think it's your intuition, but she doesn't necessarily have your, I'm not, this is not normally High Priestess, but what's coming through with this energy is whoever is saying, oh, that would be great, that would be amazing, doesn't necessarily have your highest interests in at heart. So if there's some female or female energy saying, yeah, it's saying actually listen more to your hermit self, not hermit's ruled by Virgo, and we've just had an eclipse in Virgo. There's a lot of Virgo energy at the moment, and it's really about because we've got Mercury retrograde and Mercury rules Venus, not Venus, rules Virgo. So because Mercury is retrograde, it's like really go in and dot the T's and cross the I's, other way around, do all of that. I'm not Virgo, clearly. Um, really make sure it's asking to double check the practicalities, but also does this suit your life? Because it's kind of looking a bit shinier, perhaps, or it's being made to feel a bit shinier. But actually, do you know what? Let's look at the practicalities. Let's look at let's go inward, Mercury retrograde, ruling Virgo. Let's let's check. Just let's look over the paperwork again, or look over the practicalities. Like what's coming through is what's my day going to look like if this situation comes to fruition? What's my day going to look like? Very practical, Virgo. How's my health? How's it going to impact my health? How's it going to impact um my day-to-day routines? What's going to change? Yeah. What else? There's something else coming through from that. Hold on. Yeah, it's just looking at the how's it going to affect my day-to-day work, my like if you think of how a day is going to roll out if this situation comes to pass, what's it going to look like and does that intuitively feel right? So bear in mind your intuition about it and the practicality, like the shiny kind of, oh my God, it's such a great opportunity. Oh my God, it's going to be everything I ever wished for. What's it going to look like day to day? That's what's coming through there. And then I don't know why it's keeping me away from the Empress. I'm just going to talk to Resin again and see what it's saying. Okay. Venus is retrograde at the moment as well. Venus rules this card. And so it's saying your relationship to Venus and beauty and um what you deeply want or what you truly brings you happiness is being blocked. That's why it asked me to look at these cards first, because it wanted to say Mercury's retrograde. Mercury's actually conjunct Venus at the moment. It doesn't matter when you watch this, this is just what's happening relevant to this read. So, because Mercury is conjunct Venus at the moment and they're both retrograde, which is incredibly rare, and they're retrograde in Aries, there's this tendency for Aries to want to rush forward, but Mercury's saying back up. And now, of course, the Empress is ruled by Venus. She's in reverse because Venus is retrograde. So it's like, is this going to bring you happiness? Is this going to bring you joy? Is this so with the Mercury retrograde? It's like, are you okay? I'm trying to put this into words. So the Virgo day to day, this is about your pleasure, as in, like, is this going to bring you satisfaction? Is this going to bring you the Virgoan pleasures? Like, am I going to be happy in my kitchen? Or, I mean, it doesn't matter on or situation, but I'm giving this as an example. In my kitchen, am I going to be happy making my little herbal? I don't know what you do, but like in a day-to-day thing, is this going to bring me the kind of simple pleasures of every day that I'm talking about this hermit as being Virgo? Is this? So take away the spiritual aspects, it's saying. Yeah, take away the high priestess because a lot of times people like us that are into tarot and I'd be like, I mean, how does it feel? How does it feel? What's my intuition say? It's like, let's look at this. Swords, intellect, pentacles is of course the real world. Let's not feel into this. Let's be practical. And let's think about what kind of pleasure, joy, simplicity, like this, the most fundamental things that bring you joy. Is this situation going to bring you the most fundamental joy in the things, on the most basic levels? Like if everything else was stripped away, would this thing be like, oh, at least I have this? Okay. So what else? It says we persist. Yeah, it's just reiterating, like, be bloody sure on this because it's going to persist if you make this decision or it happens because the energy is moving forward for this. And then the outcome is the star. So, you know, that's pretty positive, your hopes and wishes and dreams. I'm feeling like this is a um, very straight up. Let me just check the energy. Yeah, it's a straight up like if this is your wish, if this is your hope, boom, you've got it. I feel like that's the energy. Let me just check the present if she wants anything else. It's saying adhere to your dreams, adhere to your wishes, adhere to your star, adhere to your North Star. So with this Virgo, all those little energies that I've just read, adhere to them, and they will be your wish. But make sure they're your wish and make sure you're in adherence to the truth of your wish, the purity of your wish. As in, if you just had a tower moment, the star comes after the tower and tarot. If you've just had a tower moment, you'll have clarity, but make sure it is clarity. Make sure it's actual clarity, not just like I've got an intuition, because your intuition is not necessarily on point. Don't listen to anyone else's opinion. Think of it. Yeah, yeah, just adhere to your wishes. I think that's everything. Let's see if there's anything else. It says if you want it, it's yours, but you're stuck with it. It's showing me now a kind of fly preserved in amber, which doesn't mean that you'll be stuck with it forever. It just means it will be a done deal, a sealed deal. So be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. So thank you for watching. Bye. Hello and welcome to pile three, the alchemical wedding. Um, Before I start on this has been a very strange set of reads. Kind of nothing bad, but just what's coming through is incredibly strongly is smells are coming through. So I don't normally get such strong affiliations with, I mean, I do in life, but so at the moment I've got a really strong smell of sage, but it's very, very nice. So I'm actually burning sage and I'm burning another, I think it's a frankincense, but it's all about the smells. Like one of the piles was just all about roses, and then it really shifted up for the next pile. So I don't know if there's something around smells. So at the moment, it's very herbal smells. I've got a Spiritus Sancti candle from Trudon, but just to give you an idea, so that smells like a very traditional incense smell, and then I've got a frankincense incense. Yeah, so it's very herbal, old. The other thing that's coming up is a lot of nostalgia, which doesn't normally happen to me either. So I don't know if that's relevant to this read or if it's relevant to you, but I'm just mentioning. Plus the energy's crazy in here. It's like not in a bad way, just in a like there's lots going on. So yes, so the alchemical wedding, this is one of my favorite cards in this deck. This is about, if you think of the magnum opus of the work, whatever work you're doing, whatever your life work, whatever your project is, and I'm talking big picture project, we're not talking little projects. This is the point, I'm talking metaphorically, where it's like, oh my God, everything I've been working for the last 50, 60, 70 years, I have married the union of the opposite. So if you've been in therapy for, this is just an example of a form of alchemy, for, I don't know, 20 years. I don't know how you might only be 20, but whatever you imagine in your life. Um, and then you finally get the marriage of your, what Jung would call your actualization, your self-actualization. So and the moment you feel that, it's like this massive celebration of like, oh my goodness, this is what I've worked for my whole life. So it what it's about more is a feeling of like ecstasy of like so it's like because you not only have you passed your exams, it's like you have like got the best results ever. So the moment that you're actually, it's not about what happens after receiving the results. It's like the moment that you get the results, it's like, oh, this is beyond my wildest dreams. This is everything I've hoped for. This is the fruition of all that I've worked for. So it's the union of the opposites. It's the kind of the black and the white, and also, I mean, there's lots of colors in here, but normally it would be the I won't bore you with that bit. Anyway, that's the energy of this card. So a really lovely energy to be working with this evening. So I will just shuffle the cards up a bit, and then I will talk to Alchemical Wedding and see what energy it would like to bring through for us about the energy on the situation that you're thinking about at the moment. Um, just how it's moving forward, if it's moving forward, if there's any advice you need to know about it. So it can be any situation at all, because I'm asking a fairly generic question myself. So yes, so we're just looking at the energy of this. Sorry, I'm just shuffling. So I'll waffle away whilst I do. Okay, so that's given a good shuffle. I shuffled them before as well, and I smudged them. So there's been lots of heavy duty smudging going on. That's another thing I thought I'd mention is I've been using like the proper hardcore sage bundle, not because I feel there's bad energy. I would usually only use this. I hardly ever use this, like only if I'm doing a massive smudge, but I felt like I needed to, and I've been smudging everything all the time. So it may be the end of it also with the planets at the moment. We've just had an eclipse that is very pivotal about the huge endings and huge beginnings. So it's interesting that I'm feeling the need to smudge between each card. So I feel like this is a pivotal point in your life. Whatever decisions you make or however this energy is moving, it's going to be life changing. It's going to be major. So not to put any pressure on you or anything, but that's just what's coming through, that the need to, I mean, it's quite joyful. It's quite a joyful smudging. The smudge smells amazing and the sage smells amazing. Normally I think it fine smells a bit like a kind of roast dinner, but it smells really fresh and lovely. So whatever the energy is, it's very much a new beginning, but it's one that's welcome. So let's see what Alchemical Wedding has got to see to us about pile 3, please. Because it's looking good. Okay, right. Let please give me 3 cards for the information about what's happening on this situation. How would you like to tell us about the energy of this situation, how it's moving forward? Please may I have 1 card. 1 card, please. Alchemical Wedding. Please. Oop, no, didn't pop out. Oh, okay, we've got the Tower in reverse. First card. Oh, okay, we're getting a bit sticky. Hold on. Oh, okay, we've got 8 of Cups in reverse. Oh, a whole lot came out. I'll just tell you what they are because they might be relevant. Oh, they're major arcana. I'm going to put these to one side. I'll just tell you what they are. We've got the Mean, upright, we've got the Emperor upright, we've got the Ace of Swords in reverse, and we've got Judgment. So there's some effing major cards. So I'm going to keep those to one side because in the last read, we had a little cluster jump out and they formed a little story. And I felt right to take them, and I was right to take them. Not that I'm right about everything, but I was right about that. So I just put them to, I'll put them to one side, and if they're relevant, I'll bring them in. Okay, they maybe just popped out, but there are no coincidence. Okay, two went upside down, so I'm going to take those two. The energy this evening is a crazy in here. All sorts of. Okay, Chariot is bottom of deck. Cancer energy. Let me just smudge these ones. I don't know why I'm feeling the need to constantly smudge everything, and not because it's a bad energy, just like the energy needs to clear and clear and clear and clear and clear and clear and clear. Which is, I don't think has ever happened to me in my life before, that I've needed to do heavy duty smudges when there was no hardcore energy. So just going with it, but might be relevant. Okay, right. So, okay, so the third pile is Three of Cups in upright, Page of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, no, Page of Pentacles. I've been recording for a while, and Two of Pentacles. So that is the third section of the read. I just like to show you everything because you can't see. Basically, I've got no room on this desk to do an overview. So I've got a teeny tiny bit of room to work. So that's why I'm doing it this way. Not because I think you want to look at me especially. Well, I don't especially think you. Anyway, shut up, work. Okay. So Alchemy Welding, what would you like to tell us about this situation? Okay, it's coming through quite fast. There has been a tower moment, there has been a reckoning, there has been a crumbling of everything that has went before. I'm feeling like that's planetary, not just planetary, but not necessarily in your life. It might be in your psyche, or as in you've got enough of this BS, enough of that shit. I'm not putting up with it, excuse my swearing. That's game over. I'm not putting up with that. Enough. And so whatever the situation was, I'm seeing like it's not really a thing from a movie, but you know when in movies, if something's the power is taken away from something, it just crumbles. So if you've been feeding something your energy, you've just gone enough, and you've taken your energy away, and it's just crumbled away. So I don't it could be, depends on your situation. It could be that you've had a major event, but it could also be just where you've gone enough and you've removed your energy. Again, really straightforward. This is like enough. I'm walking away. I don't care how great it was. I don't care how great you were, or I don't care how great that situation was. I'm leaving. I'm out of here. No going back. Game over. Which is strange for an alchemical wedding card. Okay, now we've got, it's saying now you've got the meat of the reading. Okay, so that's strange. I normally do a past, present, future read, but I also bear in mind that there is no past, present, future, so that they're all blending together. But I don't normally get that's the past energy, move on. It's so funny when you work with these energies. This is not interested in the past. It's saying forget the past. It's all now. So then now we've got so this is actually normally the future position, but it's saying no, this is now. Okay. So it's wanting me to put those as one story. What would you like to tell me about that story? Okay, again, this is coming through really clear, really quick. So Three of Pentacles, you're working, this is traditionally about working together on something or building something in the 3D, but this is saying it's a project that you're working on. It doesn't have to be in the 3D, though, it's saying. It's a new idea, but it's going to need other people's help, but that doesn't mean you've got the other people on board yet. It's the thought of this, even though Pentacles is in the real world. So you've got an idea that you want to bring through. You're thinking about who you can work with. It could be about tribe as well. It could be about after this energy of the tower. Sorry, my ears just popped. I can't. The energy is so crazy. really, 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 it feels, oh, it's just Mercury retrograde or Mercury stationing retrograde. So I feel like there's trickster energy, like the archetype of Hermes or Mercury. Sorry about my nails. Yes. So it's like I've got a new beginning. I'm the kind of Page of Pentacles. I've got this idea. I've got this. I mean, normally it would be swords for an idea, but this is like I've got something I want to bring into the real world, and I feel like it might be I want to manifest a new life or a new way of being or a new living, or a new way of living or a new, as I was just saying about a tribe. Like I've got an idea. Who can I bring on board in real life? I'm super excited about this idea. And then when I bring this into fruition, how am I going to literally practically juggle the logistics? How am I going to make it happen? So I think what's coming through with this is a really excited energy of really like, oh my God, this is such an exciting project. How can I make it happen? And it's not that you're questioning how it can happen. It's like, how do I, this is good to go. This is in the 3D. This has already come, like an idea has manifested, but it's not, so it's not, this is not page of sorry, Ace of Pentacles, which would be it's still nebulous. It means we're here, we've started, the page is here, it's the very beginning of the learning phase or whatever, but I feel this is a project and you're putting all the things into place that need to be put into place, but there's a really joyful celebratory, like this is just, if all this shit hadn't happened, I wouldn't be in this position now to have this fresh start. And again, with this sage smudge, it's like fresh start. And this is smelling so fresh, which it just smells so fresh. It smells so good. So this is like a really after the storm, like I am done and done and done. I've got a new fresh idea. I'm bringing it into the fruition. It doesn't have to be an idea. It can be a relationship. It can be anything. I'm going to start. This is happening. Who's gonna come on board? What's my life gonna look like? What's my tribe gonna look like? Who are gonna be my new friends? How am I gonna juggle this? So that could be anything. It could be a romantic relationship. Okay, we're getting together. Great. Okay, what's that gonna look like? Who are my friend groups gonna be? This is a real like line in the sand. If you look at that card, there's a line right down the middle. We're not taking any more nonsense. This is a new start. It's a new life. We have been through. We have been through, and we're not doing it. Line in the sand. I mean, that's not what this card means, but it's like that's what's coming through. And we're going to choose really carefully what we want to bring into this new phase. Really carefully. So and so now this other set of cards I think is coming into play because Chariot is about moving forward. It's Cancer energy. So it's moving forward. What's coming through from this particular is I can see, you see the love heart, the heart. It's not actually a heart. I thought it was a heart. Anyway, that's what's coming through. It's like this joyful. I am moving forward, man. I am so moving forward with this. There's no question in your mind. It's happening. You're moving forward. So now the read is saying this, all these jumped out together. These are the kind of energies of the read. So let me just, okay, so we've got that goes the other way around. We've got the moon. So I'm going to move these other cards out of the way because they were kind of just preliminary cards, it says. We've got the moon. We've got the emperor. We've got Ace of Swords in reverse. And we've got judgment. Okay, right. Let's talk to Alchemical Wedding. It says you know what to do, just read. Okay. I don't know what to do. I do know what to do. I'm joking. Okay. So the moon. Okay. Yeah, this is interesting. This is quite fun. This is the major arcana. So this is the meat and veg of the read. So it's saying, don't doubt yourself. Whatever this idea is, whatever this situation is, whatever this new thing in your life is, don't doubt yourself. I feel like you feel like there's nooks and crannies that you haven't like seen or you haven't seen into. This card would traditionally be about secrets or things you haven't seen, but I feel like it's saying it doesn't matter. Like you don't need to overthink it. You don't need to, Ace of Swords in reverse. Don't overthink. There's more energy from that, but that's just coming through. Okay, so anything else we need to know about the moon? Yeah, it's saying there'll be obstacles. There will be obstacles that you haven't thought of, but it doesn't matter because you've got all this positive energy. You've got this beautiful, beautiful, overarching energy of something magnificent, joyful, and hugely life-changing. I mean, huge. I can't remember if I've just said we've had a massive eclipse. I think I did. My, I tell you, there's something really about scent in this read. My incense is literally, let me just knock it off. Yeah. Uh anyway, right. Then we've got the Emperor. Okay, there's a mentor that you can go to. Um, somebody who really knows what they're doing, who will guide you. Don't be afraid to go to them and ask. Don't be afraid to say, what do you think about this? So it doesn't have to be a man, it can be anybody that you kind of are a little bit like you really rate their opinion. Don't be afraid to go to them and say, yeah, so step out of your comfort zone when asking for opinion or advice, or uh it might be someone, there's a contact, there's someone that can help you that you wouldn't dream of asking. I'm trying to think what that would look like in a romantic sense. I don't know. You'll probably know. Yeah. So that's saying go for it, go for it, go and ask that person. It's okay. So it's wanting to give me more energy about that, more information about Ace of Swords. It's saying be careful what you say. There's some energy off that. Let me just ask Alchemical Wedding. Hold on. Ace of Swords in reverse, please. Yeah. So it's saying when you get when there's excitement and enthusiasm and important people or important situations, like when something starts to take on a gravitas, there comes this jealousy. I know that that's not what this card normally is about, but it's like these are kind of air energy, thought energy, it's saying will energy or intention energy. There can be people that are gonna maybe naysayers, but more than naysayers, people that might be like, what are they doing? That's starting to look pretty meaty. That's starting to have, as I've got all these pentacles energy, this is starting to have some flesh on its bones. This is starting to be real. I'm not sure I like that. This isn't necessarily a person, it can be, but I feel like there's going to be people that are, I mean, I'm going to say jealous. I don't know why I didn't want to say that out loud. Why did I not want to say that out loud? Because it says because it's real, you don't want to put that into the so I've said it, but that's obviously the word that we don't want to we don't want to feed that energy because it's there, it's literally there. So it's saying, or Alchemical Wedding is saying, be careful of your words, choose them wisely, but be very what's the word? Don't say too much. Don't speak too much about things. Keep your words to a minimum. Use them judiciously. Uh, yeah. So that's, I mean, that's going to happen with anything that you do that is you're really, really excited about and you're really into, and it's taking shape, it's taking form. And there's going to be people that I feel like these two cards are going together as well. This kind of like you're not sure what's in the shadows. And that's one of the things. And Brené Brown, I really love her. She says about there's a book called Rising Strong, I think, and she said basically if you're doing something big, and it can be a relationship, no matter what, but if you've got a really happy relationship, people are going to be jealous, you know. But she said that she used to always go, "Oh no, what happens if this?" It's like that's gonna happen. So she talks about it as an arena, you know, the public eye or whatever you're doing, something that you're doing that's being seen by other people. the things that you fear, they're going to turn up. So make front side seats for them. The people that you know that are going to bitch and whine, the people that you or the situations that you think, oh my God, please don't let that happen. Make a front and center seat for that. Make an allowance for that. Expect it to happen because not because it will, but don't go, oh, what if that happens? Go, yeah, that's going to happen. So I've made allowances for it. Um, yeah, but it's saying just be a bit careful with your words because people can use them against you, or if you give too much information away. Not saying, yeah. So it's just at this stage be a little bit not cagey, but then we've got judgment. Now, I was literally just talking to a friend about this card earlier this evening about the energy of it. So let's see what I just want to see what alchemical wedding says about that card because I think it's a complex energy. What does alchemical wedding? Yeah. So it's saying this is a new era with a huge amount of potential, and you've done the work karmically to shed what you've moved through. So it's this massive transition. So it's like you've been through the judgment in dealing with the tower and the eight of cups. You've been through that massive painful transition. It doesn't have to be painful, but that massive paradigm shift, if you like. And so now going forward, you've been given this enormous new cleansed life. Um, so you're stepping into a new era. And when you go forward in this era, really stay aligned, like the balancing the opposites. So like consider the aspects of the moon, like where is your shadow? Because if you're feeling like, oh, that shadow, that possible lies, make sure that your shadow is being integrated. So your fears, make sure that these, in order to avoid future judgment, and judgment is a kind of strange word for this card, but the energy of this card at this in this read, but it's like keep your karma clean. I mean, that's obviously impossible, but really stick with your right path. I mean, that quote from Pulp Fiction, which is actually a pop quote from the Bible, the path of the righteous man is beset on both sides with the iniquity of a foolish man, is it? I don't know the actual quote, but I'll put it in the comments. If you've read the Bible, I'm sure you will know better than I. So yes, that is coming through from this card. It's like walk the right path, walk the righteous path. I'm not trying to get all Christian. I'm just saying, from a karmic perspective, really lead with your heart, really move forward enthusiastically and in the knowledge that all power is behind you. The wind is at your back. Is that the right thing? What's that? There's a Gaelic saying, may the road rise up to meet you. I don't know. Anyway, so that's the message from our chemical wedding. Let me just see if there's anything else. Showing me a huge lump of rose quartz. Yeah, that's interesting. So it's saying to me that the rose quartz is the kind of distillation, like of all this love and joy, and kind of like a wedding. It's like the union of opposites. But if you bring it and you compact it together, it forms its own thing. I have a lump of rose quartz here, actually. Let me show you that. Yeah, so it's kind of showing me that, and not just because it was in my sight line, because I've never made. Yeah, so this is the distillation of all the energy that goes into creating something real and beautiful. And I love this piece of rose quartz. I bought it years ago before knew anything about anything. I bought it in a charity shop because I was like, holy shit, that's a nice thing. I've been swearing a lot, so I don't know if that's relevant. It's saying don't censor yourself, as in like with this situation. Don't censor yourself. Follow your heart. Be true to yourself, honor yourself, make this huge, important, real thing. And it's got such a gentle, even though it's a rock, literally, it's got a gentle, loving, showing me the energy of my dog. My dog is a vicious little hound, but She's lovely, but she doesn't take any nonsense. So this rock has the potency of both love and weight. And if whatever it is that you're bringing in, whatever the situation is that you're asking about, if you do it with purity and it's literally, this is such an exciting read. I tell you, this is such an exciting read. It's got the most beautiful energy. And whatever your situation is, I wish you Godspeed and all luck. Just so beautiful. And I'm so excited for your adventure. Lots of love. Thanks. Bye.